Lần đầu tiên trên VTV7, một sân chơi tranh biện bằng tiếng Anh đã xuất hiện. Đó là những chiến binh tranh biện với tinh thần tự tin, văn minh và vô cùng sáng tạo.
Education is the key to the future.
Never satisfied with what you're having.
When will it be enough?
You are never too small to make a difference.
We think that the balanced view here is to know all perspectives, to know all the pros and the cons of what you're fighting for.
Họ đã cống hiến những trận thi đấu hấp dẫn và đầy cảm xúc.
Wow, like was so smooth, that was so well prepared.
I love the energy that comes from both sides. I love the enthusiasm that follows the energy and the good content.
Are going to one team. That is
Giải thưởng dành cho nhà vô địch The Debaters mùa thứ nhất là một chuyến học tập và trải nghiệm 2 tuần chương trình dự bị trung học và đại học của chương trình SACE International tại bang Nam Úc do SACE Việt Nam và Ủy ban trường học bang Nam Úc tài trợ. Và các giải thưởng do Trung tâm Anh ngữ RES trao tặng. Đội thi hay nhất do ban giám khảo lựa chọn nhận phần thưởng trị giá 60 triệu đồng. Người nói hay nhất nhận phần thưởng trị giá 15 triệu đồng. Đội có lượt phản hồi hay nhất nhận phần thưởng 30 triệu đồng. Và bây giờ đã đến lúc đi tìm nhà vô địch của The Debaters mùa thứ nhất.
Hello, hello. Welcome to The Debater, a game show for high school students who love debating. We are here with VTV7, national educational TV channel here in Vietnam. I'm your host, Dustin Xavier. Today, I'm quite delighted for 2 reasons. One, this is the first episode of The Debater. And secondly, the students. I know these students here, they love debating, and they're very eager to express their viewpoints on the world and things that are happening in their daily lives. And frankly, I want to hear how good their English is and how rapid fire they can communicate with everything. So without further ado, I would like to introduce the motion that we applaud Greta Thunberg. I know you're at home right now, it's like, who's Greta Thunberg? Or you probably realize that she was a viral sensation not too long ago. She is a 16-year-old girl from Sweden. She was giving an environmental speech at the United Nations for Summit Action, this 2019. However, not too many people have really questioned how she has approached this, her age, and what she's doing. Is it actually super helpful?
Right after being named in the top 12, teams had joined our advanced training program on English and debating.
I think the motions that Chemical X have to deal with is very, very interesting motions because, like, you know, nowadays there's a lot of problems related to environments. It's required the student to use knowledge and skill in order to express their feeling, express their idea, and speak for themselves.
So both teams had a lot of preparations about this, and at first when I test their background knowledge, they seem to know a lot, but they don't know very, very specific information about it, as well as they don't have a lot of background knowledge about other topics relating to environmentals as well. So for both teams, I had to start with enriching their background knowledge.
Okay, so nice to meet you all. My name is Lee, and I'm from the UK.
I think if they do their preparation will be key for them. They're starting their work now. They're going to really get into this so that they're ready. They know exactly what to say. They know what to fight with. So preparation will be key for this team.
Our mentor has provided us with a lot of useful strategies on how we can approach this debate. And the things I want to say about this particular debate, I believe it's going to be especially interesting. It's going to be really hard for both of us.
So now let's see how our Vietnamese teenagers feel. Please welcome on stage, which is a very interesting name for a team, the Rainbow World. So please welcome Dương Man Hải, Nguyễn Thị Minh Thảo, John Hui Wang. welcome to the debaters, you guys. For the next team, another interesting name. Please welcome to the debaters, Chemical X. Please welcome Huang Mai An, Huang Ha Feng, Mo De Peng. Welcome to the debaters. You guys are going to be the opposition team. You guys know what you're going to be doing. You two are going to be debating. So let me ask you, how have you guys prepared for this?
I think we have really considered all the possibilities that this debate can come to, and I think we're pretty well prepared.
For you guys?
The preparation phrase was, to be honest, pretty boring, so we're not going to bore everyone watching out there with those.
Okay, I'll take that answer.
We bet that we will never leave without a fight there.
Okay, okay. So as long as you guys are feeling confident and ready to battle, that's what I want to see. All right? Thank you so much, because I know you all have a lot of opinions about this motion, so please take your seat because we are going to be introducing the judges right now. We can't really have a show without the judges, so right now it's time to introduce our three judges. The first judge for the debaters, we have Miss Nguyen Ngọc Tu Uing, professional debate coach. For the second judge, we have Mr. Nguyen Ji-hyu, co-founder, IEG Education. Welcome. And last but not least, we have Mr. Evan O'Donohoe, professional English coach. All right. And now, for the first round, I would like to introduce the two contestants. The proposition team. Please welcome Jung Man Hai. From the opposition team, please welcome Huang Mai An. So welcome to the debaters. I know this is the first episode in the first match of the entire series. I think you guys are ready to set an example for every student in Vietnam right now, right? So the rules for the debater, the first match, you guys will have 3 minutes to give a speech. No POI, so there's no question. Do you understand?
Yes, we do.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, that's what I want to hear. For you guys, let the debate begin.
People are sleeping when the ice caps melts, when the forest burns, and when the animals are going extinct, and we are slowly dying on our own planet. And ladies and gentlemen, humanity desperately need a wake-up call to actually understand what critical conditions their home and themselves are actually being in. With that in mind, we are here to applaud Greta Thunberg. Who exactly is this Greta Thunberg, you might ask? Greta Thunberg is a 16-year-old environmental activist who stood out from the others because of her straightforward and blunt manners, even when directing the world leaders and literally anyone that she faces. And to applaud here means that we encourage the media outlets to share her images, work, and her values, with work being her speech calling for movement or actually her movement itself. And our goal standing here in this debate will be to decelerate, to stop, and to reverse environmental issues, and also to promote a daring young generation. We have 2 claims here today in order to reach our goal. Claim 1 being Greta Thunberg is our very own wake-up call that we desperately need right now. And the second claim being doing so will reshape the role model for the new generation. Moving on to our first claim. Why is Greta Thunberg going to be the wake-up call? First of all, she's very much different from a lot of people who stood in front of the entire UN Commission before, because she has this issue called the selective mutism, which means that she will only speak when she felt like it is her turn to speak, and she felt that it is really necessarily. And it enables her to speak sincerely about what is necessarily, make her words very much reliable, and she is not talking for attention. Why does this matter? Because ever since her speech, the world has heard her, the world has known her name, the world knows Greta Thunberg. The Western government has taken actions according to her, and if we were to promote and applaud Greta Thunberg, she would gain more influence all over from people all over the world. And what does this do? It urges the people to take the actions against what is truly happening when they are truly aware of what we are facing right now. And what are some of the actions that they will take? They will try to change their lifestyle, they will try to change everything. And since the lifestyles are being changed, corporations, and especially those selling services to people, will have to change the way that they serve as well, replacing a lot of the things that are not disposable in order to fit the need for what is recyclable for this new wave of customer. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for your time, and the rest will be developed by our second speaker.
Ladies and gentlemen, today in the debate, my fellow opponent has wrongly misunderstood. He believes that by applauding Greta Thunberg, everybody will take actions. This is a really wrong misassumption. In your case, Greta Thunberg the world only knows her name. It doesn't mean that everyone will take action to solve the environmental problems, which I will later prove to you in our team case. Now, I want to give some extension to the definitions. First, the applaud. The applaud is not only support, not only praise or encourage, it also promote and focus on that character through mainstream media. By this media, we are sending a message that Greta is a role model. Everybody should follow Greta and everybody should be like Greta. Now, we have to understand what makes Greta so different. It's her belief that she believes that each individual cannot make a significant changes, and she used emotions to actually support her belief and in order to achieve her goal. Coming to our debate today, we bring you two arguments. First, it is unjustified to applaud Greta Thunberg, and second, applauding Greta Thunberg create many backlashes. Now, we have to clarify three factors every environmental campaign aims. First, awareness. Second, attitude. And third, action, which is the hardest thing to achieve. Awareness has already existed in the 21st centuries. Why? Because people do witness the changes in our daily life, and ice is melting. Toxic, deadly air conditions, those are the headlines news has been covering lately. And awareness right now, right here, is not enough. What we actually need is the actions and the attitudes of everyone. Now, to be applauded, I believe that there must be two criteria. First, the right attitude. You have to give the right and balanced reactions and encouragement for everyone to join the movement. And second, the right action. Give significant solution to solve the problem, your goal you are aiming to. What Greta doing, it doesn't meet this criteria, which proves that it's unjustified to applaud her. Why? Because in terms of attitudes, Greta is widely known for her aggressiveness, and this aggressiveness is putting her and everyone in a blind spot. Why? Because people follow Greta, follow her aggressiveness, and doesn't have time to self-evaluating, to actually know and shifting all of the responsibility to politicians and all the corporations. And people by this make no significant moves to the environment. And second, in terms of actions, the message Greta is conveying is not leading to any problem-solving actions. Why? Because what people are caring is her name. People caring whether Greta is right or wrong, who should be responsible for it, rather than the solutions to this problem. For all the reasons above, we would not applaud Greta Thunberg. Thank you.
Whoa, 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 whoa. All right. The first round. That was fire. That was good. We're quite curious to hear your opinion.
All right. Congratulations for finishing the first round of the first match of the Debaters 2019. Even though I got a very clear structure of what your team argument could be on the two arguments, but with the first argument, when you developed the argument on the wake-up call, I felt it lacking the structure. The second thing is you borrow a lot of very general or generic terms. For example, you say influence all over the world, whatever happening right now, or a lot of things. You know, these are very general phrases, and without going to the specific details and examples, it's very hard to convince otherwise. With the opposition team, I don't like your rebuttals. The proposition argument is about the wake-up call. You haven't addressed any of that wake-up call whatsoever, right? You just told it like she used emotions. That is not relevant with the argument that they're trying to put forward. However, with the argument that you do, I quite like the structure because you lay out a very clear mini structure within the first argument. So it's very easy to follow from awareness to attitude and to action. And I find the ideas are developed quite strong and very convincing for me. That's why my 10 point go to the opposition team.
Let's move first over to the proposition team. I thought you opened up pretty well. You didn't link how promoting her would lead to the results, really. You said it would create more influence for her, but how does that put pressure on anybody to do anything about it? Moving on over to the opposition team. Again, I like the structure of your argument and the way that it got stronger as you went forward. You started off sort of soft-spoken, and by the end it was much more charismatic. And I liked the point at the end where awareness is already there and action is not. So I will also be giving my 10 points to the opposition team.
Congratulations on both of you. Definitely this is not an easy debate. For prop, I am actually impressed by how you opened the case and how you set up the case. I think that you done really, really well. However, my problem is you didn't show me what exactly are the actions that Western governments actually did and how other countries would be affected, would imitate these things as well. So this is a little bit lacking in your arguments. I can still credit your argument, but not as much as it could be. For opposition side, I think that the structure is really, really well done. However, two problems. Number one, your rebuttals is not very, very strong. And number two is that since you have you focus a lot on structuring, clearing out the structure, the ideas were not fully developed. In here, both teams deserve like really, really high credit, but on a very, very small margin, I would give my 10 points to the proposition side.
Just a quick recap. We have Rainbow World with 10 points. We have Chemical X. Sounds like X-Men. I'm talking about X-Men here, but we're talking about debate right now. Chemical X with 20 points. Just a reminder to all those people watching at home, this is nothing. We still have a lot more points to come, and right now it's practically tied. We'll see you in a second.
The first round of the debate was very intense and fascinating. Sharp arguments have been given out by both teams right at the first speech.
People are sleeping when the ice caps melt, when the forest burns, and when the animals are going extinct, and we are slowly dying on our own planet. And why is Greta Thunberg going to be the wake-up call?
Now, we have to clarify three factors every environmental campaign aims. First, awareness. Second, attitude. And third, action, which is the hardest thing to achieve.
And very convincing for me. That's why my 10 point go to the opposition team.
I will also be giving my 10 points to the opposition team.
My 10 points to the proposition side.
Surely, next round is going to be a boom. Let's find out right after the break.
Welcome back to the debaters. We are going to be starting the second round. Let's get our contestants up here right now. So here with the Rainbow World, we have the preposition team. Please welcome Muang Pigman Hao. Welcome. You ready? Good. I want to hear that. Chemical X, we have Muang Ha Fung. All right, so let's catch up a little bit. So now the second match for the first episode of the Debaters. Your team is behind a little bit.
Yes.
Your team is winning. So have you changed any plans or strategies on how you're going to approach our little match right now?
Yes, definitely. I have to add a lot of details in order to supplement for my first speaker speech.
Okay.
So hopefully it will change the situation and somehow get our team closer to the win in this debate.
How about for you?
I think that during preparation, we sort of predicted that this would happen. So I think we're on the right track that we're supposed to, and I'm really happy with that.
Okay. So for the second round, you will have 4 minutes, and POI is allowed. So just remember, you can push this thing right here. No problem. First match, problem. This one, it's okay. So you have 4 minutes to give your speech. The preposition team will begin first. Let's begin the second match.
Ladies and gentlemen, United Nations Organization website have said that we only have 11 years left to prevent the irreversible damage from climate change. How could we just stand there and know the information but do nothing about it? We believe that only Greta Thunberg, those people who can generate debate, those people who are controversial, can bring the heat back to the society and make people feel that the problem is urgent and we need to do something about it. Coming to my rebuttals to your team, you say that we need a right and balanced attitude, but you haven't really given us the definition of a right and balanced attitude here. Maybe I can translate that definition is that the right and balanced attitude that you are mentioning here is a moderate attitude. Like one activist in the past, Suzuki, she has a speech in the UN conference. She is famous for being the woman who silenced the world for 5 minutes, but only 5 minutes, because she's too friendly, too moderate. People listen, but in the end, no one do anything. What makes Greta different? She generates debate. She's controversial. She's blunt. She's straight, and she makes the world feel that the problem needs to be solved. And that's the reason why we don't really understand why the right and balanced attitude is necessary in this debate. Coming to my second rebuttals is that you say that when people are aggressive, there will be no self-reflection, there will be no move, and they will lack solution. First of all, you lack elaboration for this kind of reasoning. And second of all, even if they are true, first of all, why people need self-reflection? Why individuals need self-reflection when they cannot do anything? Only those in authority, only the corporation, they are the major cause of all the problems. And if we only focus on individual, like for example, you go out on the street and you do not buy plastic products, then it only solves a very small point of the problem. But if you being aggressive, if you affect those in authority and they do something about it, then it will make a bigger impact in the society. So that's the reason why we don't see the significance of self-reflection in this case. Second of all, you say that there's no move. However, you are totally wrong, because as our research have said, Greta, her campaign, Friday for Future, has spread out to more than 125 countries, and people are now being urged to take action. And you say that there's no solution. Absolutely, because Greta is not a scientist. She is contributing to the world by her voice, by her honesty, and by her influence to urge people to act. She cannot act herself, but her power is to make people feel that this is urgent and they need to act, yes.
With Greta Thunberg's behavior so controversial, will people be arguing about whether she's wrong or right, or actually about climate change itself?
Okay, so when they're debating on whether she is wrong or right, they have to find information to know that if she's wrong or right. They have to make research about climate change. They have to make research on what she has done. So basically, in that process, they have gained some knowledge, they have been awareness, and they have practically they have known what they should do to protect their future and to protect their life. So we didn't see any harm in people debating about her or her work. Coming to my second claim, which is there was one quote that Greta has said in the COP24 conference in 2018. You are never too small to make a difference. And this is also the spirit we want every young person to adopt. And so our second claim is, applauding Greta will reshape a role model for future generations. Why it is true, many children are dreaming big, want to resolve big problems and make big changes, but adults are suppressing the dreams because simply they are kids, they cannot do anything. And Greta is the living example that regardless of how old you are, you can always make a difference. So that's the reason why it is not only about environment, it is also being about speaking up your mind and fight for your future.
What we have to understand here is that we have no time left to argue whose fault this is, and we cannot change what has been done and who needs to solve this problem. What you're saying here is that people will spark a debate simply because Greta is so controversial, but this is exactly the problem. We're losing the focus of actually solving climate change simply because we're too busy arguing about whether Greta's attitude or behavior is acceptable, and we think that this is very harmful. Second of all, you have stated that why are individuals not doing anything? Exactly. What is that something or action that you're aiming towards and that individuals are doing when simply the only thing they're doing is being angry at adults, and the only thing they're doing is blaming politics? And what is the responsibility that they see here when they see that it is not their fault and they should not be taking action? When you're saying that how old you are, you can still make a difference. But this is not what Greta is aiming towards. She is saying that individual changes doesn't matter. It is not your fault that this is happening. Therefore, you don't have to solve it. The only thing you have to do is be angry and scream. And this is exactly why we think it is so harmful for the generation to follow this. Now, back to our idea. The only thing we can do here is that we focus our resource and time on encouraging collaboration and moving towards a change. Anything that we applaud or promote must help us in order to reach this. To our second argument, which is how it leads to more backlashes, we have three main reasons for this. First of all, we have no action in such an urgent time. Second of all, any actions that can be done are most likely to be negative. And third of all, how we lose the focus of this fight. Now, first of all, we have no action. People lose a sense of responsibility when all they do is blame it on another group of people. I'm not here to debate whether that's wrong or right. I'm here to ask you a question. Is that after that argument, what do you really achieve? Absolutely nothing. The only thing that you achieve after that argument has already been done. Government has already have policies, shops already have eco-friendly messages, and that it is not likely to go further than this. Exactly why we need to promote proactive individuals in this fight, and awareness here is not good enough in a situation that is so urgent. Second of all, how actions are most likely to be negative. When you follow Greta, you follow her anger, and any decisions you make are based on that anger and based on the fact that you think that it is right. Now, this has resulted in 1.4 million people being absent from school to protest for something that they don't even know what needs to be done. Young people need to have a balanced view to decide what is the most suitable solution. Yes?
What is a balanced view in your perception?
We think that the balanced view here is to know all perspectives, to know all the pros and the cons of what you're fighting for. What Greta is saying is that only politicians have this fault, only politicians have the responsibility, and that economic growth cannot be something that we prioritize, which is not a balanced view in our case. Now, back to our point, which is that young people need to have this view, and simply by promoting Greta, we're affecting this view to create a biased and passive generation who doesn't even know what they're fighting for and doesn't even know the impact of their actions, and we think this is extremely harmful. Third of all, we're losing the focus of the fight that we're doing. When you applaud Greta, you put her into the spotlight and allows arguments to happen surrounding her attitude and whether or not she's wrong or she's right. Instead of this, we could have actually focused on discussing what is the best solution, taking away that focus. People who don't even know if they support protecting the earth or not is already aware of this problem. The only thing we need to tackle is their attitude. And if they don't feel like they fit into the box of the aggressive Greta, or don't support Greta herself, they're more likely to drop out completely and don't even follow anything about protecting the environment. When we have aspects that are driving us further away from our goal here is to protect the environment, is something that we must avoid in all cases and should not be promoted in any way. And that is why we're strongly opposing this motion. Thank you.
So I'm done talking. Let's hear from the judges. So judges, I'm quite curious to hear your opinions on this one.
This is a really, really good round. I can see it from the first two speeches until now. You guys really took the comments of the judges as well as to develop your teammate speech really, really well. For proposition side, I definitely think that you're very thorough in whatever you say, and I really like the fact that you put a lot of data, a lot of evidence inside of it. For opposition side, that speech was like, wow, like was so smooth, that was so well prepared. It felt just like you have been practicing the speech for like so many times, and when you come here, you just like put the play button. Like, it's so impressive. However, of course, the rebuttals were good, but it was not very, very good. Like you take all the points down, but you still leave a lot of, like ways for your opponent to really put back up to you as well. So next time I'm trying to work on rebuttal a little bit more, but my 10 points will go to the teams that really have very good preparations and the speech was nearly flawless. It will be opposition side.
Okay, congratulations on a very competitive and very entertaining round for us. Let's start, I guess, with the proposition team. I thought that this round there was a lot more evidence and quotes from reliable sources, and that was good. I thought that you handled the POI very well and very quick on your feet to answer those questions. And so both teams did very well with the POIs. It's good to see those. This round, I'll be giving my 10 points to the proposition team.
It is a bit hard for me to decide which team is winning because one team doing the rebuttals better and one team doing the arguments better. So basically, when it comes to the rebuttals, I really like your rebuttals. I think your 3 rebuttals arguments are very strong and very convincing, and it's really set a really high tone for your speech. But I think with the rebuttals and then the POI address, you only have like almost like 30 or 35 seconds to present your argument. And also because in the first round, I reminded you guys that your teammate first argument about the wake-up call was not very convincing as well. So I also want you to kind of like support him and really make that argument much stronger. Move on to the opposition team. I agree with the judges, very flawless speech in terms of style, okay? In terms of like speaking voice, voice projection, fluency, I have no negative feedback. Everything is good. That said though, I don't really like the rebuttals. That said, when you move to your argument, I could say that yes, very clear structure to follow. That said though, the second argument is backlash, right? The backlash thing, I don't see very strong highlight in your argument. Watch me with backlash. What could be the consequences if we keep doing this further and further and further and applauding Greta, right? Make it stronger. So that's why I feel like one team have a good structure for the argument, the other team have a strong rebuttals. But that said, because I'm more convinced with the rebuttals, that's why my 10 point go to the proposition team.
So girls, thank you so much. So please return back to your seats. Okay. So just a quick recap. So Rainbow World, over here, the preposition team, they have 30 points. Over here, Chemical X, they also have 30 points. We still have 2 more matches, and right now it is dead even. So at this point, it's anybody's game. Who knows who's going to win right now? We'll see you in a second.
Just as expected, the second round of the debate has given us outstanding rebuttals.
Friday for Future has spread out to more than 125 countries, can bring the heat back to the society and make people feel that the problem is urgent and we need to do something about it.
I'm here to ask you a question, is that after that argument, what do you really achieve? Absolutely nothing. The only thing that you achieve after that argument has already been done.
Wow, was so smooth, that was so well prepared.
So my 10 point go to the proposition team.
My 10 points to the proposition team.
So the game is dead even. We'll have to wait for a surprise from the third round right after the break.
Welcome back to the third match of today's debaters. From Rainbow World, from the preposition team, please welcome Junhui Wang. Right. Chemical X, the opposition team. Please welcome Bo Duc Hung. So the rules for this one are quite similar to the second match. You will have 4 minutes to give your presentation, and POI is open, so you're allowed to interrupt at any time. Preposition team, as always, you're going to begin first. Do you guys understand the rules?
Okay, all right.
The third match will finally begin. Good luck.
Ladies and gentlemen, in the opposition side, you guys are living in a rainbow world. You depict a world when people totally buy in the idea. People become too radical, and you simply framing people into a very simple mindset. And now I'm going to depict that and decipher all your claim. So in the first place, the rebuttals. What is your claim is not true at all. So in the first place, you mentioned about the fact that it's unjustifiable to applaud Greta simply because she represents for the anger idea and the anger, the unreasonability and the rationalism. While on our side, we have pointed out clearly that we promote the work, the impact, the value from Greta, and you guys haven't tackled on that idea. So you guys even sway away from the frame that we have set out before, and that is not the spirit of this motion. And furthermore, I'm saying that even if your claim is true, it is insignificant. Why? Because you here only tackle on one part, while we tackle both parts. Even if, in the case of your team, even if the people decide to focus on radicalism, on something, and there may be biased leader from outside, we can still promote the idea about environment, because the debate will center not only about Greta, her personality, and her personality is also closely linked to what she represents. So in that way, we also achieve something, promote the awareness more. And now, I'm going to summarize this case and point out the world, the world from both sides have built. So the first class of this debate, I see that it's about the influence. So on our side, we emphasize on the need for a future leader, on the need for a new generation of leader, on a leader who dare to act. We promote the idea about a doer, not a thinker. On your side, you promote the idea about cooperation and benefit. But the second speaker from our team have already mentioned that we only got 11 years. And let me mention that the co-op agreement was achieved after 5 years, and now Donald Trump, the president of the US, decided to withdraw from that deal, which took another 2 years. So it already 7 years to making progress and to compromising, to do the cooperation. So for all those time, how can you possibly create any changes, while on our side, radicalism may be prioritized, and at least a person voice up, leader, answer. And there actually a very good example of this is that the Prime Minister of Canada, Justin Trudeau, after a meeting with Greta, he had agreed to fund the project to plant 2 billion trees, and he promised that his country will abide by the Co-op 21 agreement, and that's what Greta has already achieved after only one meeting. Imagine that if not only one Greta, there are 10 or 100 Greta, then how can it be? How more Justin Trudeau can we achieve? How more Justin Trudeau can we have? How many leader more will hear her? And so that is the effectiveness that outside have brought to the debate. And now coming to the second class of this debate, that we no longer, it is about the effectiveness after all. So with all being said, put it out in this debate, on our side, we prioritize radicalism. We prioritize that, yes, there are maybe biased leader, but in the end, there are still significant achievement at the moment right now, when there have not been any praising, when there has not too many promotion. While on your world, you did not even do any promotion at all. You did not emphasize, you did not amplify the current time right now, which is that the status quo is already good and you can improve more. So on your side, you have a stagnant world. On our side, we have a progressive world, and that's why we won this debate. From 30 years ago, Suzuki has only made a wake-up call to society. But how dare you say that Greta Thunberg is going to make a difference, since what she's doing right now is just another race awareness, and her hit is going away very, very soon. You say that only on your case you make the influence, and when on your case, leaders will answer and took an example of Justin Trudeau, right? But ladies and gentlemen,
the doers on your side of the house are the students, are the 1.4 million students who drop out from school and instead do protest. And what do these protests cost? First of all, they don't change anything. Why? Because we have stated before, some governments have already did what they could, and also some companies have already changed into green messages, right? In cases where they can't do anything else, it doesn't make a change. And also, there are conservative governments, such as the Brazilian government, they continue to exploit the Amazon forest. And if you continue to protest, it does not make a change. Secondly, those protests of the doers, you say, will cause negative effects, right? So the young people, the next generations that you're talking about, can only see that protest is the only way. To rely on the politicians and the authorities is the only way. Individuals cannot do anything by themselves. Teenagers cannot do anything but to protest and to cause vandalism, and we believe that is getting closer to eco-terrorism, when people are so careless of other things just to make sure that the environment is being protected as in their point of view, right? Secondly, you say that maybe in your case there will be biased leader, but on our side we're not doing anything at all. That is so wrong. Why? The media coverage made Greta Thunberg so famous that it left every other activist or people who are actually doing something into the shadow. Just take an example of the guy who planted a tree day by day. No one knew about her because they only know about Greta Thunberg and what she says, right? She didn't even do anything, right? And only thing she can do is make students drop out from school, in which they are supposed to be studying to equip themselves with knowledge, and then they can be the future leaders, right? That is so wrong. And now, coming to the comparison of our both teams' cases, we believe that both sides coming to this debate wants to fight climate change and want to do something good to the society. But whether should we applaud Greta Thunberg or not, right? Now, on your side of the house, you just say that only by applauding Greta Thunberg, people will do the research, and by doing the research, by having the same feeling with a 16-year-old activist, they will make a solution, right? No, Greta Thunberg herself did not offer a solution. We don't ask her for a solution. She's just a teenager. But if she can't offer a solution, but instead make the people angry and don't think of the solution anymore, we should not applaud her, right? And also, these are so short-term. Why? Because they are only debating whether it's right or wrong, as we stated before. And because she can't make up a solution, she shouldn't be applauded. Now, however, on our side of the house, we've proven that she only stopped at awareness. Whether we are aiming for attitude and actions, right? On your side of the house, you did not prove how promoting this girl will lead to attitude and action. However, we've proven that there will be negative attitude and no actions at all. And if we keep the status quo, there will be actions. And however, on your side, individuals can do a thing, and that is the role model Greta Thunberg is doing. No teenagers can do a thing but to rely on the authority. And that is why we don't applaud Greta Thunberg. Thank you.
Well, so for you guys, let's turn our attention to the judges and hear what they have to say for the third match.
Start off with the opposition team. I thought your rebuttals were quite good this time around. The fact that you were emphasizing that doers are actually just protesting, they're not really solving the problem, and then you later back that up with you shouldn't be applauding Greta Thunberg because activists who are doing things, such as planting trees, are sort of pushed out of the media's attention. So I thought that was a good way of setting that up for later in your speech, and I generally thought your turn was quite clear in how you structured it and extending your arguments, and yeah, good job. Turning to the proposition team, again, I thought you had some very strong arguments, and I thought it was very good. There was some good concrete evidence, meeting with Justin Trudeau in Canada, and that one meeting leading to measurable change in results. But there was parts where it was a little bit hard to follow, and you mentioned yourself there was a bit of disarray. For that reason, my points will go to the opposition team.
With the proposition team, even though when you do your clash and then when you kind of present that, you have two ideas. One idea is super strong with the example of Justin Trudeau. The other team, I think, is when you start to, a bit nervous and you kind of fishing forward. Moving to the opposition team, now finally you guys come up with like very strong rebuttals, and which is like I've been waiting for personally for the strong rebuttals coming from your side. I don't want to ask for like new ideas, but I want to like deepening into those arguments relatively by a small margin. One team is doing better in this round, and my 10 points also go to the opposition team.
Definitely, this is one of the best debate rounds that I've ever judged, not only in the show, but I think also in real life as well. Very, very heated arguments. Proposition side, you have some good rebuttals, but you have too little rebuttals, even though you have a lot of things to cover in here. You have the conflict, the clashes presentation, very good, but also you didn't have a lot of development for your teams as well, so it evened out. Right now, I'm looking at one thing that's really, really interesting to me is the way that you analyze the information. For opposition side today, I think that your rebuttal is definitely very strong, just personal, but I don't think that you should point finger at your opponent during the debate. You can do it to, like some space, but do not point it at your opponent. On a very, very close margin, I think that I would slightly lean to the proposition side on this one. So the 10 points will go to prop.
Thank you, judges. Very much appreciate that. And I liked how you used Rainbow World early on in your speech. You just threw that out there. For you guys watching at home right now, Rainbow World has 40 points, Chemical X has 50. That doesn't mean anything yet because the show is not over and we still have the final match. See you in a second.
The two speakers from the third round had made a huge effort to protect the arguments that their teams made in the previous rounds.
We promote the work, the impact, the value from Greta, and you guys haven't tackled on that idea. So you guys even sway away from the frame that we have set out before, and that is not the spirit of this motion.
And only thing she can do is make students drop out from school, in which they are supposed to be studying to equip themselves with knowledge, and then they can be the future leaders, right? That is so wrong.
Will go to the opposition team.
My 10 points also go to the opposition team.
Definitely, this is one of the best debate rounds that I've ever judged, not only in the show, but I think also in real life as well. Very, very heated arguments.
Welcome back to the Debaters 2019, produced and broadcasted by VTV7, which is an educational channel here in Vietnam. And for you guys, we have gone through 3 matches, which has been killer. Head-to-head, intense arguing, and great English and debating skills going on right now. But we have 40 points with Rainbow World. Chemical X, we have 50 points. It's quite even, and the final match will determine everything. Let me explain how the final match will be. The reply match, each judge up here is going to be giving you 5 points. They're not going to comment on your speech. You're not going to know anything. So at the end of the show, you guys will have more information. So you're going to come up here, give a speech, and this will determine the winner tonight. From Rainbow World, the preposition team, please welcome Minh Thảo. Thank you, Thảo. Chemical X from the opposition team. Please welcome Ha Phương. Ha Oi, Phương Oi. Let's do this.
Sure.
Sure. Okay, I'll take that. So, without further ado, let's begin the reply match.
I
I think that the government side here today has completely ignored the status quo that we have brought up in this debate and heavily stressed throughout this whole debate, is that awareness is already achieved. The 2 points that they have brought up is that urgency and motivation. When you accept the additional burden put on people and put on the unrealistic idea that a normal observer would put extra effort to research and know their stance, is absolutely ridiculous, and you're destroying this urgency that you're saying when you cannot even see what you need to prioritize in such an urgent time. Motivation here, we don't see what better to motivate people than actual actions themselves. You have given us no explanation how blaming another group will actually inspire people, young people, to take action towards this issue. When you applaud something, you're saying that it is good enough. Why should I bring something different to the table? Why should I try harder when I'm already applauded for delivering a speech or for raising awareness? This is not enough that we have clearly proven in our previous speeches. In your best case scenario here is that everyone supports Greta and people protest for a change. But what can be achieved? What more can be achieved? The fire in Brazil will not stop. The people will not use less plastic. No impact are shown when people are actually stripping away education, which is the tool that can actually help them creating this change that we need. The middle ground here that we think is that both teams are trying to prove that we are solving climate change, but our team is looking forward towards a change, and that we're looking forward to that we're actually analyzing and seeing what this problem is and tackling that cause. What you're saying here is that you only want this progress. Whatever we're doing here, we keep the same thing. We want to say that, okay, even if we cannot improve people's awareness anymore, I would rather have this level of awareness here and focus on moving forward, because there are other individuals out there who are providing us with actions, who are providing us with physical changes that we need to focus on. And that is exactly why we cannot keep supporting someone who keeps saying empty words without having actions. And that's why we strongly think that we have won today's debate.
Dear judges, the opposition team today lacked totally elaboration on how their policy will work, and we believe that even in their best attempt, they cannot fulfill that role also. Why? Because simply they are encouraging everything they're encouraging us to do is what we had done many years before. Simply, they encourage people to live greener, to be calm in the face of the Earth's demise, to encourage collaboration between government and citizen, and to encourage students to study math, biology, chemistry, and etc. And let alone the global warming, and it is not their problem. But does it work? Does all the action I have mentioned work? No, simply because no one listened. So, we acknowledge that no teams today can assure that they will solve every single problem immediately. But what makes us different today is we're bringing up the heat, we urge action, and we bring about a daring generation. Because people are debating on Greta work and climate change, young people are now dare to stand up and change the world just like Greta. And let's put this problem into context. Let's put global warming into context. It is really urgent. So what needs to solve an urgent problem? It needs concerted effort. It needs immediate results. And the only option is to focus on those who can make changes most, which is those in authority and corporation. So we believe that our direction is is wiser than theirs. So we do not want another nice and friendly Suzuki, another forgotten Suzuki. We don't want another silence that lasting for decades. We want people to feel the threat, and to feel urged to take action and do something about the planet. So that's the reason why we believe that the proposition team has won the debate today. Thank you.
All right, girls. I'm really impressed. You're doing a very good job tonight, both teams, especially the English. But now, the show has finally come to an end. That we applaud Greta Thunberg. We are no longer doing any more matches, and the fate of the winner tonight will be in the judges' hands right now. So the judges are going to be scoring you. They're not giving you any feedback at the moment, and we're going to find out very, very soon who is the winner. So for those at home, currently right now, 40 points for Rainbow World, 50 points for Chemical X. We're going to see what the judges have to say. We'll find out very soon who's going to be the winner tonight. Welcome back to the final results of the debaters. This is the first episode in our season. For you guys, I think everybody up here is quite curious to see who the winner is. Right here in my hands, I have the results for the final winner. The Rainbow World, 40 points. Chemical X, you have 50. I have 5 points for Chemical X. So Chemical X, congratulations. You guys have won the first episode for the debaters in 2019. But I just want to remind the audience and everybody watching right now, the debaters, we're looking at students trying to improve their speaking skills, critical thinking, and also seeing something from a different perspective and being able to have a conversation about it. Because in the future, for work, friends, relationships, you need to be able to debate something. So everybody at home, make sure to help support the debaters by going to the Facebook fan page, YouTube, hitting the like button, smashing that subscribe button, and also leaving a comment because you guys did a phenomenal job today. I'm very proud of you. I think the judges are as well. So thank you so much. Everybody, we will see you later. Take care.